Okay, good evening, everyone. Call to order for the Borough of Monaca regular council meeting for December 8th, 2015. Requested to stand for the invocation and flag salute. Heavenly Father, we remember those who gave their lives at Pearl Harbor 75 years ago, and we recall what our president had to do, Congress had to do on this day back December 8th, 1941. And we request that you bless us with the courage that great generation exhibited to maintain our freedoms and give us our freedoms, that we do the same thing for those who come after us. And we ask this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
John, we have a roll call, please?
Mr. Snyder?
Here.
Mrs. Rossi? Here. Mr. May? Mr. McKay?
Present.
Mr. Michael?
Present.
Mr. Boer?
Present.
Mr. Cigarelli?
Present.
Mr. Wilson? Mr. Nichol? President DeMarzio?
Present.
Mayor Amrine?
Present.
Okay, we have a quorum. What I will do, since there's almost more councilmen than there are members out in the audience, I will open up the visitor section for anything. If you have something that you care to discuss before council, please approach the podium. State your name and address. Anybody? Okay, the visitor section's closed. Mr. Leon, do we have communication?
No
No communication? Okay. All right, you need a motion then to approve the regular meeting minutes of November 24th, 2015 council meeting.
So moved.
Seconded.
Okay, Mr. Brewer made the motion, Mr. Zigarelli seconded. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please signify by saying nay. Carries. Financial and contractual, I need a motion to approve the monthly bills.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, Mr. Brewer made the motion, Mr. Zigarelli second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please signify by saying nay. Thank you. Mayor's report, Your Honorable Mayor Anline.
Yes, the total number of citations and warnings was 105. The total calls for service was 160. Total monetary receipts for the month of November 2015 was $2,911.89. I'd also like to thank everyone involved in Light Up Night last week, or this past weekend. Randy Police Dog Recreation, they did a phenomenal job. There was so many kids here, I don't know if anybody had a chance to stop down, but they ran out of everything. That's how many kids were here. Yeah, they gave away presents, and they collected a lot of presents for Santa Claus this year down there. It was a really great event. Parade was good. Chief, let everybody know that. Fire department, thank you for all your participation, and everybody else.
Any questions for the mayor? All right, thank you, Mayor. Under Public Works, Mr. Wilson's not here to give a report. Nor is Mr. Colville here for the highway water report. Wastewater treatment plant report, Mr. DeJoe.
Good evening, Director Gentleman, Operator, Monaca Wastewater Treatment. Briefly, the treatment plant was in compliance for the month of November 2015. Total receipts for sanitary waste hauling and processing, $8,466. Total disposal costs for the month, $2,470.55. We've taken advantage of the mild weather regarding all the maintenance that needs to be conducted prior to the cold weather getting in. Involves lubrication and of all the machinery and blowers and chain drives and whatever it's listed in the report. The safety meeting that we had at the treatment plant was regarding the operation of the belt filter press. The press we have operates at some pretty good pressures, 275 to 400 psi range. We went over all the safety and lanyard lines and trip devices. in case of any emergency regarding the operation of that device, that piece of equipment. Section 8, personnel. All personnel have met their contractual obligations regarding employment for the month of November 2015. That's all I have.
Any questions for Kurt? Good. Mr. Michael,
He might not know this, it's actually a water question.
ask him anyway.
In the water operators report, it said that they sampled trihalomethanes and haloacidic acid on September the 10th, that there weren't any results. You happen to know by any chance?
They haven't received the results yet?
No, they're not in here.
Oh,
Does it take that long to get the results?
Yeah, those are part of the disinfection byproducts rule. They may have not received the results yet, but that has to be listed in the annual report that goes out, that's posted on the webpage, you know, so
Okay.
that's part of that criteria.
And thanks for the help.
Oh, my pleasure.
Any other questions for Mr. DeJoe? Kurt, thank you. Good job filling that question. We'll turn to general government. Mr. Brewer, do you have a report for us today?
No, nothing, no.
Okay, I'll need a motion to approve resolution number 5-15 and execute the signing of the consent agreement of civil penalty from the Department of Environmental Protection.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, Mr. Brewer made the motion, Mr. Michael second. All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Yeah, can we go through the motion? All those, can I have that again? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, Mr. Leo, would you please,
I'll let
Give
the
these first.
solicitor.
okay, Mr. Solicitor, you're,
Yes. In connection with the problem we had on Constitution Boulevard, where that pipe that was buried 40 feet under the ground broke, spilled sewage along the railroad tracks and into the river. DEP fined us. It's really a penalty. And for what were otherwise several minor discharges during outages, during repair work at our facility that we self-reported, turned ourselves in, so to speak, they imposed a penalty against us. They presented us an agreement to sign. We had the amount of the penalty reduced significantly. It's set at $8,000, much more than what I think you should be paying under the circumstances, but to fight it may cost you more. So you have to swallow that bitter pill, knowing that you self-reported. It wasn't as if you did something incorrectly, illegally, sneakily, nothing like that, and that you acted as quickly as you could under the circumstances. You still get penalized. This agreement addresses all that and identifies the penalty amount which you have to pay. No one said life is fair.
but we did the right thing on our part. Sometimes, like you said, it's, doing the right thing is painful,
Yep.
but it's still the right thing. Mr. Snyder, you have a question, comment?
By the way, thanks, Rich, and that's behind us now.
Good, yeah.
And that's what was my question when I was reviewing the minutes, and I seen that, and I think I asked Mayor earlier, and then I was questionable about how far back, and he also elaborated 5 years, and, you know, like you said, now it's behind us, and we did authorize you to go and discuss, you know, the terms and see what we can, you know, maybe get out of it. Thank you.
One thing before I forget too, Kurt, you're here, I had a discussion with Mario and concerning outages, and Frank, you're familiar as I am on those things. Maybe the timing on that. I don't know if you're winter time, I know it's hard to do an outage in the winter time, but I don't know if that's to your advantage or not. It's just something to consider. Yeah, probably further on, okay. All right, so we're all clear on that. I mean, we did nothing wrong on our part in terms of trying to do anything underhand. It just happened, and that's what happens. Let's move on. Need a motion then to advertise the 2016 reorganization meeting for Monday, January 4th at 7 p.m.
So moved.
Mr. Snyder made the motion. I called him. Okay. Second.
Mr. Second.
Wait, okay. We'll go Mr. Snyder, Mr. Boomer made the motion. I didn't know you guys were in such a hurry to reorganize. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, signify by saying nay. Okay. Need a motion to approve the resignation of Third Ward Councilman Ron May.
So moved.
Second. Mr. Snyder made the motion, Mr. Zigarelli second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, signify by saying nay.
Question.
Comment.
We'll go to Mr. Snyder first, and Mr. Michael.
In the past, due to someone passing away, we've always, replaced councilmen.
Mhm.
Could that take place tonight?
Rich?
In the absence of Mr. DeBlanco, Jeff Dickel,
Yeah.
and Mr. Kazan, Mr. May, I mean, I think we owe it to the townspeople to have
Well-
a voice.
I'll allow the solicitor elaborate on that.
You have 30 days.
Oh, so we're gonna wait till January.
First of all, you're putting words in my mouth, and it's not what I said.
I know.
But you have 30 days to make an appointment, if you choose to make an appointment. If you don't, the vacancy board could make an appointment. I think in the past, every time that you've made that appointment, or at least you've been following this, you've advertised it in the paper for people that might be interested. And so the direct answer to your question is, yes, you could make an appointment tonight if you wanted to do that.
Mr. DeMar, is
It
there?
would serve, keep in mind, whomever you would appoint, if you appoint, until the first Monday in January of 2016.
Correct.
Let me add one thing to that, not that it's gonna
Did
sway
that,
you
did
over.
that answer your question?
Thank you.
Whomever is appointed, okay, that person had no input into the 2016 budget. Yet that person's gonna vote on it at the end of the month. So just keep that in mind.
If I may,
No, I'm not
be
trying
the
to
devil's
say.
advocate here, you've had an absent councilman for 6 months and he
Yeah.
didn't have no input either.
Yeah. No, Frank, I'm just letting you know.
Okay, yeah, well,
So
I
whatever
mean, it
you
goes
wanna do.
both ways, John.
I know.
Okay,
What do you wanna do?
well, I'd like to make a motion to appoint the individual that won that seat. And I believe that is Edward Norbert.
Okay, Mr. Snyder has made the motion to, thought it was Ray. Raymond, no. Okay, to the, replace, Mr. May. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Huh? Anybody's making it now, I mean, typically you.
You're on the subject.
It's no big deal.
You're on the subject.
It's no big deal.
Second.
Okay, Mr. Michael seconds.
Before you vote on it,
Yeah.
is that a few other things?
Yeah.
Yeah, I failed to mention, regardless of who it is that you appoint,
Correct.
that person would have to sign an oath. They'd have to present an affidavit that says they've been, have to have it notarized, in other words, that they've lived in the community and in that ward for 1 consecutive year or more, just as all of you have done in your elections.
I mean,
And they'd have to actually, be sworn. The mayor would be an appropriate.
yeah, he has to swear him in.
Wait, I replaced Mr. Manzo, and all I remember, I supplied a resume, and I showed up to speak, as did 4 other interested citizens. Came up here the next Tuesday, I was the only one who showed up, and I found myself in Mr. Snyder's seat. I did not present anything other than a letter of interest.
How many years ago was that?
20 years ago, Mr. Leon.
The affidavit is a relatively new requirement that is contained in the newly revised Borough Code. So some of you that ran, depending on how long you served on council, you may not have been required to do it, but from the day that the new Borough Code was adopted, moving forward, you have to present that affidavit. And even if you run for the office.
We like that.
Well, I mean, here's my point. Council,
Wait, Mr. Pardon?
council,
Well, look, something you have to understand here, okay? This is what we do. This is what we do. And you may not like it, you may like it, but we do the business of an act. This is part of it. So just, you have to be calm. Mr. Brewer.
I don't, Frank, I understand where you're going, but I don't know where it serves any good purpose for him to take office next week, when he's taking office the week after. I don't know where you're going to get him in one meeting.
wouldn't you, if you were a businessman and you were hiring people, wouldn't you want to get them on the ground running as soon as possible to make your business proficient?
And he has been, he's been showing up at all the meetings, except for the one,
Well,
the budget meeting.
Gentlemen, it's no big deal one way or the other. Mr. Zigarelli?
Guys, with all due respect to everyone sitting around here, it's a simple, cut and dry solution. Does he need the paperwork or not? If he needs it, we'll wait till next time. If he doesn't, Mr. Snyder, excuse me.
go ahead.
Talk
One at a
all the
time. All right, say it. Get to the point.
Mr. Noyer, thank you for letting me have the floor.
Got it? Good.
Does he need the paperwork or not? Ladies and gentlemen of the council, if he needs it, then it's a simple thing, we'll do it next time. If not, do it now. What is it? Which is it? We're going way off topic, way off agenda, which is why we're all looking forward to getting things back on track.
What a person needs is a 3-step, if you will, procedure in an appointment to a vacancy. They need to be appointed. They need to sign an oath of office. They need to present that affidavit that's signed by a notary. Once all those are in, that person could qualify. So if one of your questions might be, Mr. Snyder, can whomever, whether it's Mr. Nolder or whomever, can they be appointed tonight but not have those other items and sit here with you tonight? The answer would be no. They can't qualify to sit in the chair and be a council member unless they have all those items. If he has all those items tonight with him, then it could be voted on, and if he's selected, he could be seated.
May I report? I'm just, and then I just briefly, I was fully unaware that all these documents were required, because in the past, it didn't happen with the other two. Now, recently, they came about. So the code, so to say, you were speaking of earlier, who changed the code if it wasn't council itself?
You don't change the code. The House, Senate, and Governor of the state of Pennsylvania
Well, that wasn't.
changed the code.
Okay, thank you for, but I'm just saying, for the other two, I don't recall, you know, that.
Maybe because that new law wasn't in effect at that time.
Okay.
If I may, if what I'm hearing is correct, I'm hearing you correctly then. Theoretically, we could appoint him, but he cannot sit tonight, but he'd have to get the paperwork and sit at our next meeting.
That is exactly right.
Okay. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen of council, motion's been made, it's been seconded, to appoint Mr. Noller to fill that seat. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, signify by saying nay. Okay. Ray, you know what you gotta do now.
If I may,
Well, go ahead.
Thank you. I
Yes.
appreciate this. My name's Ray Nolder, 1033 Beckville Street. You know what, January 4th is the day to be seated.
Yeah.
And if you don't mind, I'd rather wait till January 4th and put a stop to all this, to make it real simple, instead of going through all this. That's all I'm saying. You know, 1 week, I mean, I could come in with the paperwork, and the following week, and then the following week I'm gonna have to be, you know.
Just
You have to
gonna
do
make
it, you have to do it again.
Right,
All
so
right,
my
so-
point is, can we wait till the 4th of January?
I think if you do nothing, I think we could just let it ride till then.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Thank you, I appreciate it, Frank. I really
He's not being
do.
appointed the 4th of January, he's being appointed the 16th of January, it was said.
4th.
The 4th would be the 4th.
Yeah.
I stand corrected.
So we're just talking a matter of weeks, we're okay,
Right.
okay, we went through parliamentary procedure.
And you still need the document signed, notarized, you still need that document.
Where does one acquire those documents?
On the 4th. Now, isn't that already settled through the Board of Elections, the
Should have
courthouse?
got a paper, yeah.
I gave all that to the,
If you, Mr.
John, I
Nolan,
believe, huh?
Mr. Nolan,
Yes,
if
sir.
you already signed that affidavit as part of the process that you went through at the Board of Elections, you need to secure the original of that, because that, or a certified copy, because the borough is required to keep not only your oath on file,
Mhm.
but the affidavit that you signed saying that you've been a resident of Monaca and the ward from which you were elected for 1 consecutive year or more. So
4 years.
both those documents have to be given and held by the borough. It's not a simple matter of you showing it to them like it wouldn't be for anyone else. And the same rule that applies to you applies to anybody else that's coming to board council in January.
Very good. I just wanted to put this, you know, I can wait.
That'll be your choice.
Thank you.
All right? Thank you very much, John.
Mr. Miller, I will second your nomination.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Well, Frank, you know what, it's a noble gesture, I understand where you're coming from.
Yes.
I was not aware of the rule change, even though I've been here forever.
Very good.
But, whatever. All right, yes, Mr. Michael.
One more thing too. I'll wait.
Don't laugh.
I'll wait. It's
Okay.
coming up, it's coming up.
It's coming up, all right, with it coming up, we're gonna discuss the trash recycling schedule. Did I read that right?
You read it right. Yeah, in regards to the trash and recycling schedule, I received a call, it was yesterday, from Waste Management, and they had indicated, I guess due to some of their contracts awarded and not awarded, that the day of Monday, it has come available. And if some of you recall, when we put the contract out for bid several years ago, and we went to 1 day, our preference was earlier in the week. However, the earliest they were able to offer us was Thursday. So Monday is available. They would like to offer that to us. We're not obligated to take it, that's your choice. I sent you all an email indicating that my personal opinion is I think that is beneficial to Monaca Borough. First and foremost, my own personal experience in my collection in Hopewell is on Monday, and I really like it because we tend to generate most of our trash over the weekend. And then you put it out Sunday, it's kind of an off day, it's pretty easy, you're home, and you bring it out, you're not rushing from work, or not, at least, you know, my personal schedule. Following, if you look at our schedule on Thursdays, when there's a holiday on a Monday, Tuesday, when we're pushed back a day, that then moves our trash collection to Friday. Now, I know we'll say there shouldn't be any missed collections, however, human error, whatever, they occur. When a missed collection happens on a Friday, there's no ability for a resident to contact anyone at the borough to make it right on Saturday or Sunday, so that trash stays there till Monday. When we get the call on Monday, it's usually not resolved until Thursday, the next collection. I think a Monday collection would provide us, in the event that there are the missed collections,
we have Tuesday, Wednesday, vice versa, to remedy the problem. And if there's a holiday on a Monday, collection's Tuesday, and again, we still have multiple days of resolving that issue. Again, it's your call. I know I was surprised at the amount of people, when we asked them to bring their trash to the curb, on how much it escalated concern. Changing the day, I don't know how that disrupts people's lives and patterns. It's changed, so I'm sure it's going to upset somebody. I think it's a positive. The reason we couldn't get Monday when we put the contract out was because it was a high priority choice by a lot of other municipalities. So it's here, it's an option for us. They would like to start at the beginning of January. If you don't feel comfortable making that decision tonight and you want to do a survey, whatever, I could certainly get back to Waste Management. I don't know how quick they have to modify their dispatching forces.
Mr. Michael?
Mario, was that what prompted? I mean, all of a sudden they got Mondays open. What, I agree with you, by the way.
One of their contracts of who they probably collect on a Monday, they lost the bid, and now that came available, and they're.
And they knew we had an interest in it?
Yes. I mean, it's just kind of the fact that, you know, a month and a half ago, we made a decision to ask residents to bring it, you know, the second guessers will say, why didn't you tell us then? Well, that wasn't presented to us at that time, and now it has. And again, this isn't not really a deal breaker. You can stay the way you are. If you think it's an improvement to the residents, there's an opportunity to provide maybe some enhanced service.
Do we need a motion to do this? I make a motion, we move it to Mondays. Let's move forward.
I'll second that.
There you go.
Mr. Snyder made a motion to move trash pickup to Mondays, second by Mr. Michael. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, signify by saying nay. Okay.
And they'll pick up the cost for all the mail and notifying the residents.
You know, we're gonna have to do that ASAP with the holidays here against us.
Mario,
I'll call them
Word of
tomorrow.
mouth, water bills, anything, you know what I mean, put it in there. All right, thank
are
you.
we gonna get the prior Thursday? They're not gonna stretch us out for 10 days before pickup.
I'll figure all the logistics out on that and
Thank
make sure that, yeah, we're not going 10 days and, yeah.
Good point.
Okay, what about phase two for this, for downtown? Yeah,
That's
you
in next
discuss?
year,
Okay, I'll move on. Neighborhood services report should be in your packets, and if you have any questions. No questions? Council of Government report, Mr. Brewer, you have anything?
Nothing, there's an announcement.
Managers report, Mr. Leon, you're on.
Thank you, Mr. President. First item on the agenda is the Enline Park Comfort Station Pavilion update. We have opened up the bids, I think I shared with you all, and they did come in substantially over our project budget. I had a phone call with the DCNR late last week, and with the architects, consultants, and myself and the DCNR representative, and we talked about how to still keep this project moving forward, the possibility of cutting the budget some. One area of high cost was the green roof, which was about $87,000, and we're in excess of $150,000 over budget. So we're still, there needs to be some cuts to the project. However, we threw it out there to see if we get a bite on it, but we asked, is there any additional monies available? And fortunately, they did put out an offer of possibly up to an additional $50,000. However, it would be a dollar for dollar match. So if we were willing to put $50,000 of additional borough money to the project, they would match it with $50,000. So that would bring us $100,000 closer to it. We'd still have to cut some items, which we think there's some cosmetic facade items and maybe some plumbing fixtures and stuff that we can play around with. And then obviously even tweaking the green roof, maybe eliminate a portion of that. But when you eliminate the roof acted as a stormwater control device mechanism. So when you remove the roof, and that's not taking the water, then you have to do something on the ground to then accommodate. So it's not a 87,000 and it goes away, then you've got to add those improvements. But that's some of the flexibility we have. I guess what I'm requesting this evening is there an interest from council willing to commit to additional borough monies. And it might not be exactly 50,000, it might be, it's a 35, because we only need 70,000, but is there a commitment by the council to continue the negotiations, so we're willing to match any additional monies that may be needed up to 50,000?
Mr. Snyder?
If I may, this is pertaining for the bathrooms, right?
Yes.
All right, I'm gonna make a recommendation, and everybody else can weigh in on it. Cut all the pretty stuff, the grass on the roof, whatever, because we don't have bathrooms up there. We're still using deer joints. I'd like to see this project move forward. Therefore, if everyone's on board, yes, I'll say match it, get the bathrooms in. Summer's gonna be coming, faster they can break ground and get it in. You know, weather permitting, not weather permitting, there's gonna have to be a start date and get it done.
Is that a motion?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Brewer?
Wait, what are you motioning? You said cutting the grass roof, that's part of the grant. I mean, I can understand cutting different things, like you said,
Yeah, we're gonna cut
facades
what's
and stuff.
necessary, but I think the main thing is there's
Get the project rolling.
favorable, yeah, for the,
He's supporting the borough
Okay.
manager in a
That's
decision.
what I wanted to make.
That's what I'm hearing?
I'll go with that, John.
Okay,
Thank you.
all right, Mr. Snyder made the motion, do I hear a second?
Second.
Second, to allow Mr. Leon to do what's necessary to move this project along.
Contingent, that, keep us in the loop.
no, you
Thank you.
ultimately, yeah.
Contingent that we're all, kept
Yep.
informed.
Yep.
Okay, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, signify by saying nay. All right, motion carries. In addition, let the record show that Mr. Wilson entered council chambers at 7:31. Go ahead, Mary.
Yeah, any changes and modifications that are made to it will be presented to you, because this project's gonna have to be advertised and go out that for bid, however we repackage it. The next item, these are more or less just commenting on accolades that the Borough of Monaca has received recently. The first one is just a newsletter from Cranberry Township that's kind of highlighting that Monaca Borough was one of the municipalities on the forefront with the automatic meter reading system installation, and Cranberry, after a thorough analysis of it, they are now moving forward too. I would kind of like to boast about this a little bit, because a lot of people see Cranberry Township as being a progressive, forward-moving community, and here Monaca moved forward on this particular initiative several years before them.
It's good to see they're finally catching up to us.
They're catching up to us, that's right. In the next item, I was honored to be able to attend the Rochester Chamber of Commerce event where they recognized one of our own. And when I received a phone call from them and said they were recognizing Pat Majors for the Rochester Chamber, I was like, you mean she's volunteering there too? We're not giving her up, but here it was really honorable of them that they recognize volunteers, and that is with great community pride in other surrounding municipalities, and they selected Pat Majors. It was a great event. I was honored to be able to present her for you. And again, on behalf of Monaca Borough, we thank you as well, and congratulations. Also, last week, I had the opportunity to attend the Green Workplace Challenge ceremony at the Andy Warhol Museum. There were 2 awards that Monaca received. One was a participating award, that we were one of the few entities that have supported 3 consecutive years since the Green Work Challenge began. And the larger award on the table is recognizing the first place winner in the small government sector. We won the award this year after a lot of hard work, and I have to thank my office staff for all their help in it, as well as the 2 interns that we had. They worked very hard on it as well. Some of the municipalities that we beat, on the larger side, and again, it's pretty humbling to be able to do this, is the Township of Upper St. Clair and New Township as well. So we went against some big boys to win this award, and I think everyone should be proud of the accomplishment. Also, I was hoping to have the award here this evening. It was supposed to be mailed to us, but we received at the end of October, it was an award from Census, our meter company. We were recognized at their annual conference down in Orlando, Florida for water conservation. And fortunately, I don't have the award to show you this evening, but I'll again recognize it. From that, I just received an email this week. They were there at the event and saw the Water Conservation Award being given to Monaca Borough. There's a magazine called Smart and Resilient Cities, and they are going to put a case study in their magazine. And I don't know what month that will be published, but that will be out in the media as well. So a lot of accolades to the Borough of Monaca on progressiveness. That's all I have.
All right, thank you, Mr. Lynn. Any questions for the borough manager? Okay, moving on, borough solicitor's report. Solicitor York, do you have anything for us?
I do not.
Okay. New business? Mr. Michael?
Yes, since we have accepted Mr. May's resignation, there was some paperwork that informed us that he had not been a resident since he signed an FHA loan. But we paid Mr. May, and I would like to see Mr. May reimburse Monaca for the time that he was not a councilman.
Solicitor York, I gotta turn to you on that one. Does that qualify, signing an FHA loan qualify you as not being a resident?
It is some indicia of that. I can't tell you that it's conclusive. It would be conclusive if you asked Mr. May to confirm it, and if he confirmed it, then it would be conclusive. So I think you would need to ask him or conduct some other investigation to determine that that was his exclusive residence.
If you accept an FHA loan, that has to be your primary residence. And in signing his deed, basically forfeited the council position at that time. Whether notified or unnotified, the council, legally, he accepted that he no longer was a resident of Monaca, which does not qualify him to sit on this council. So I'm asking that we ask Mr. May to reimburse us the date, from the date of the signing of his deed, to reimburse Monaca as a gentleman and not accept any payment for being a councilman.
Yeah, I'm not trying to sit here and argue with you. I'm
Okay?
telling you that it's an indicia, but there could be other factors.
Then I'm going to
at work,
suggest to
so
council that we ask Mr. May.
You could do that. You could put that in the form of a motion and ask him to reimburse you, and if he doesn't, then take it beyond that point, however you as a body see fit.
Mr. Zigarelli?
Mr. Michael and members of the council, Mr. May has already told me that he had absolutely no problem doing what Mr. Michael is requesting to be done.
Oh, I just
I would
wanted
also
to
like
say-
to, no, I'm giving you your answer, and I would also like to publicly thank Mr. May for his time serving on this Monaca council. So, Mr. May, I maybe reach out to him.
How do you want to handle this then? Do you want to make a motion on the floor that we make him pay it back, or do you want to just?
I would like to request a letter of request from the borough to reimburse us
Okay.
on any funds that he may have received.
I don't think we need to vote on this. I mean, you could ask, Mayor, can you do that without us getting into a vote here?
I mean, mean, I could certainly give Mr. May a call and ask him
Alright.
if he would be,
Would,
gracious to return
Would you-
funds from that date.
would you and Mr. Zigarelli get with the borough manager on that?
Yes.
We're gonna handle this like gentlemen, first time ever. Well, Frank and I had a gentleman's agreement once, and we just stuck to it, we said, "Well, so we're gonna do it this case. Not you, Frank. If we went that route, we'd have been listening, but nonetheless, is that acceptable to you, Jeff?
Yes, it is, at this point in
Mr.
time,
Cigarelli?
yes.
Mr. Zigarelli, you okay with that?
Yes, I'm more than okay.
Okay, let's move on. You have anything else?
I should or I shouldn't take this to executive session?
What you discussed with me before is not a matter of executive session.
Okay. I also want to bring up the CJ rental. And the only question I have, first I have a comment. I don't like the idea that the entire council is not notified till 6 months after the fact. And the second thing is, I'd like to know who authorized supposedly whatever deal is in place at this time, because I'm not happy with it. That should have been a full council consideration.
What deal are you referring to?
I'm referring to the,
General government meeting?
we got a renter that hasn't paid us for 6 months, and we've extended another 14 months to catch up in the hopes that they'll do more business. And I don't see that a way as doing good business. If we expect people to pay their water bills, pay their taxes, then whoever rents and has a contract with the city of Monaca needs to also pay. There shouldn't be any leeway.
What are you guys talking about? I know I just got here at 7:31, but what are you guys talking about?
We just brought up right now.
Oh, okay, sorry. No, I mean, I missed it.
No,
Let Mary Ann explain it.
yeah,
Yeah, I don't have the exact figures in front of me as to how many months that they're behind, to comment whether it's 6 months or 4 months, but yes, they are behind in rent, okay? Part of their operation is dependent on state monies, and with the debacle with the governor and not passing the budget, some of those monies are not being forwarded to them, or they're delayed, there's some lag time. So there was some cooperation with them, with that understanding as well. But it all started with, if you get down to the basics of it, was we provided them the ability to utilize the gym space. The gym space was not available due to the condition of it, with the paint chipping and all that. So they weren't able to increase their size capacity of how many students they could take in. So that was a financial burden to them. Because they had to keep one of their classrooms as a runaround where these kids from state code have to have an area where they can release some energy. So I took it upon myself at that point to try and work with them to get it right. They did make some payments, and then it would go back to the pattern where they would miss a month, right? And then at that point where I saw that it just, it was a concern, because I was trying to work with them to try and make it work, but it wasn't getting better. So at that point, I mentioned it to the General Government Committee that, hey, we have a problem here, we're trying to work with them, but put them on notice that this was the issue. When we talked about it, the monies, we gotta pay the heat and the rent, or the utilities in that building, whether they're in there or not. So whatever cash flow was coming in, we were still further ahead than not. I mean, we can start the eviction process and evict them, but are we ahead? I don't think so. If council, if you all decide differently and we want to make a motion to go that route, then so be it. I still think, even if they're lapsed in their rent, it's still a benefit for the municipality. There's a lot of residents that utilize that facility, and I think now, with the church moving out them moving into that other space, and that was a hurdle too. They needed more space, it was there, but you have the construction code issues. There had to be a door put on it. We had to get this door, we had to order it, it was a special steel door. Simon put it in, you have to get the inspections. That took about 2 months before we can even make that space available for them, that it would meet the code through state standards of everything that they have to abide by. That space has just recently come available to them here late November. So hopefully now with that additional space, they can now solicit additional students to increase their revenue. I think for 2016, we're going to be on a right track. They're willing to pay the back rent. Some issues that they have been doing for us gratuitously, they've been cleaning and maintaining the public restrooms there for all of 2015 for the most part, just because they're there. And I think that's something that there should be some, I think the borough should give them some leniency for doing that on our behalf. They have their own restrooms, they're maintaining and cleaning their own facilities. That's condition. I think everyone's aware of it now, and certainly whatever council's decision is moving forward in 2016, I'll pass it along.
Well, I do have, if council recalls, before we went into 2 separate committees, Brandy, Zig, and myself attended 2 meetings down there for the same issue. She claimed that she was stifled, her business was the fact of these paint chips. And if the rest of council recalls, we had a contractor, and he presented a bid. I don't remember the exact amount of the bid, but to have that situation taken care of was minimal. Probably less than that door we had to put in for the additional classrooms. And I guess I'm a little upset in the fact that 3 people that were on that committee actually all attended, and we worked to get that rectified. And to no avail, and now here's where we sit. So it's I'm not into evicting people. And as far as the bathroom goes, there are only renters, so, I mean, yeah.
Not close.
Okay, who else is using the downstairs bathrooms?
Cheerleading,
Regardless, let me stick to the point.
wrestling,
Let me stick to the point.
basketball.
Bottom line, there was a way to rectify those paint chips. It was already in place. We never acted on it, okay? It bothers me that that's the excuse.
Where's this bid that came in, Jeff, that you're talking about?
We presented it, Brandy, Zig, and I presented, we had 2 meetings with Mr. Dan Miller.
It wasn't
Lengthy,
just,
lengthy
it
meeting.
wasn't just paint chips, it was, they need the floor all restored, there's
It
tile
was
busted
all, it
up.
was all in there.
I don't remember a low-cost bid.
I don't think I have it anymore, but yeah, he brought it.
No, we did, and that's what I'm saying, that was her reasoning for us not receiving payment. And it was like, wait a minute, that's been handled already.
All right, so where do we want to go from here? Want to throw her out?
I'm not into throwing her out,
Well, we're gonna
but
make,
I don't want to start a,
hold on, Jeff. Go ahead.
no, I don't want to start a pattern here.
All right.
Whether people want to admit it or not, this is a business. And if this was my personal business, this isn't the way I would have treated it, so I'm bringing it up.
Well, then maybe we ought to get out of business. I don't look at it.
No, I don't
this
want to
way.
get out of business.
And
That's not,
I don't
John,
look-
that's not what I said.
Yeah,
Come on,
we're-
give me a break.
Mr. McKay.
Okay, anything I gotta say, we're about ready to start construction on an elevator, right? What are we gonna do about all that going on? And that's right in the center where they are.
It's gonna be, they're gonna have to work around it. And construction's gonna happen.
It was bid like that, to work around them. We bid on it.
So what happens if the state, someone says the state comes in and with the dust and everything? They're worried about the gym and the paint chips, what are they gonna worry about when construction goes in? It's just something for you to think about.
Well, I guess they're gonna have to work on a midnight shift then or something. It can be done. All right. You have any- no,
I
we're-
got a comment on this. I do recall that a bid was placed. I actually attended a meeting And I also recall what occurred after that was numerous discussions about if we're going to fix a floor, are we gonna let Central Valley softball continue in Monaca baseball, continue in Central Valley wrestling, continue to damage the floor?
Exactly.
So it wasn't, I don't believe that, from my recollection, that anybody stopped the bid. I believe that there was no consensus if we were gonna let Central Valley wrestling, Central Valley baseball and softball in Monaca baseball continue to use the floor or not.
I can answer that.
I believe that's where I remember.
There was a consensus, Mr. Wilson. We talked, anything damaging to the building, we weren't gonna let back in.
I don't remember a consensus being there. That's been the biggest hold. What direction do you go? We never formally decided what kind of floor was gonna go down to it. It went from, softball was gonna volunteer to do it. There was an array of issues out there. And I'll tell you, as far as the actual bids that you're talking about, I just don't remember, the prices on them. They were coming in at a low cost that anyone on council, approved to move forward those expenditures. I don't ever recall that.
Mario, there was a low bid definitely to take care of the paint chips. Because
A low bid or one bid?
it was Mr. Miller's bid. He submitted a bid. I called it.
What was the ballpark figure on that bid?
I don't remember exactly, John, but it was somewhere, what, Randy, around $900, $1,000? It was to take care of the paint chips because when we inspected the building, I pointed out, this is an old building, this could be lead. We got a daycare center, okay? He said, I can handle, we could do this separately, we can do it all as one, the floor, the walls, whatever. And we did. He gave us a price for the paint chips. That way, we didn't have to be under any scrutiny as far as letting these kids play in the gym.
It wasn't just paint chips though.
Flooring, I think flooring was
There was
included.
flooring,
in that.
there was the padding around the whole gymnasium.
Right.
What was presented to me was that she said she couldn't conduct business without the gymnasium at the level she could afford to pay us.
Who presented that to you?
I talked to Mr. Boer.
Is that what occurred, Mr. Brewer? I'm not part of general government, I know you're not. so I'm not-
No, I said that they could not, exactly what Mario said, they could not get enough, as many kids in as they would have liked if they would have had the gym, because like he said, they were using up another room. We made accommodations, we got them another room instead of the gym, and that's where we're at right now, they just received that room.
And what's the time frame on to be up to snuff in payments? Just somebody give me a date then. I mean, what's the leeway?
Who were you told, Mario?
I don't have a formal, payments made up. I don't have a drop dead date on that.
Do it. Can you do us a favor and keep all of council up to date as to what's going on so that it's not forgotten about and it's not swept anywhere? Not that we're doing it. Frank?
Just FYI, yeah, lapses in daycare mortgage or whatever rent. I had to deal with daycare a while back, and I personally had to go pay it every week. However their arrangements are, and however the state sets up the rules for the individual, we just have an agreement. Okay, you're gonna pay this much money. Now, whatever the state, how they pay you, because here's what I'm thinking. If you've been lapsed in 6 months, would you work here for 6 months if we didn't pay you? I mean, you have to have so many people on hand down there to accommodate the children. Would you work, look here, and I'm gonna leave it at that. So I think that we should pursue this, and maybe you can get back to us before the next meeting. All right, the other thing is, as far as the elevator's concerned, they will work midnights. There's gonna be some demolition, they're gonna create some openings. It's an old building, you don't know what you're gonna find. You're gonna create dust. And by them working at midnights, they'll give them opportune time to clean up and barricade any openings or potential hazards. So,
Neighbors will want that.
I do got one more comment. Roughly a month ago, front page of Beaver County Times, there was numerous stories about daycares throughout Beaver County that were owed money from the state budget. And I don't believe that, when I read that article, any other townships or communities or church organizations were ready to evict anybody over it. I think that everybody was understanding of it due to the Governor Wolf and Congress, the state Congress not passing the budget. But we're going, trying to do better in Cranberry and Beaver and all that. Maybe we'll get an award for evicting somebody no other township does. So let's just think about that too.
Oh, all right, everybody. Everybody cool your heels. That daycare center is not going out unless she decides to go out of business. We're bringing up the same conversations we've had, and I've heard time and time again. I've had them with individuals, I had them with the borough manager. Okay. If she leaves there, we lose that income stream. She promised to make good. Let's see if she makes good. Right now, it's a good thing we got going here. It's better to get a little bit of money than no money. You want to throw her out, we got nothing. We're going to have an empty building over there. And all the other problems that go with it. Let's do what we can to get those paint chips taken care of and get that fixed. Derek, that's going to, I believe, falls under your group.
I don't think that's the case.
No, it's not.
I actually asked about the gym prior,
All right.
not for the daycare, I'm told it wasn't, but just for the record, this is the first I'm hearing of this again.
Well,
I may have been discussing general government, but I was unaware.
The gym was not discussed in general government, just the rental and the problems and the new lease.
If I'm not mistaken, excuse me for speaking out loud, but that fell under building and grounds and as the reorganization earlier this year. That's
Well,
maybe where it got misconstrued.
maybe, but you had to
It
have
was
that.
discussed.
You had to have that reorganization because some members of council weren't going to their designated committee meetings, but that's enough. You have anything else, Mr. Michael?
I'm good right now for new business.
Mr. Boer?
Nothing.
Mr. Cigarelli?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
No, new business, no.
All right. Vice President McKay?
Yeah, I got one thing. With the discussion of the fire department mergers, possibly gonna be taking place here in next summer in July, and they're consolidating into one building. I believe we were looking at possibly the Station 5 on Jackson, that being the one shut down and being sold. I'd like to see council make a motion to get an appraisal on that building, so we can look at possibly selling it.
Do I hear a second?
I have a question.
Question.
The merger of the fire departments, was that discussed in a meeting of council or is that in a committee? I apologize.
It's been discussed over how long now, a couple of years?
Did this actually happen? Because I do recall being in the newspaper that we were gonna sell that building and I asked, I'm sorry, I don't remember. I'm permitted to ask these questions. And I asked Mr. Brewer. Mr. Brewer was at the Shakespeare thing for all the county and stated that wasn't happening. So this is, I didn't know we were truly merging and selling the building or appraising the building.
Well,
A little bit more
I don't think it's gonna hurt to get that building appraised. Might not be a bad idea. Mr. Brewer?
What I said was that general government had not discussed the selling of that building. What he's talking about is why wait till when they do merge next year, get ahead of the curve and at least have the building appraised so we know what it's worth. That still doesn't mean sell it.
You know what, that can
Thanks for the
wait though,
clarification.
Jeff, with all due respect.
We're just trying to get the ball rolling, because
Well,
before you know it, it'll be here.
I don't think it's about, I'll second his motion. I think it needs to be done anyway.
okay,
As said.
all those in favor of appraising the Fifth Ward Fire Hall building?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right. What else you got?
Move on.
Carolyn?
Just for quick short, is sneakily a word?
I was thinking that same thing, sneakily.
Oh, look it up. Sounded good at the time.
Mayor?
Good ears, John.
Mayor, put it on your list.
Just on that list.
The mayor's been having a running list on famous sayings on council. It's gonna, book's coming out next year. All right, I have something, in all seriousness, as the borough manager mentioned, I've been here almost as, not quite as long as the solicitor, but it's 20 years. Seen some good times, seen some bad times. And I want to let you know that I will not be seeking the office of president come January 4th. And I know this is a little unorthodox here, but I'd rather give you the heads up for you guys to just, and lady, to think about going forward. I am not doing this because of my health. I am not doing this because of the events that I put myself through this year. I have been here, in August it will be 20 years. And it's time to move on. And that is the hardest thing to do as an elected official, is to say, you know what, it's time to call it a day and pass the torch. And so, with that being said, I'm not looking for any other offices or any special committees. I will be here. You know, you guys want to quiz me like we used to quiz Mr. Moska about what was under the roads, but what I knew and what I experienced, I'll be here for 2 more years. Okay? Frank, I'll turn to you for new business, or old business.
I don't have nothing at this point.
Okay. Brandy?
No, but thank you.
Jeff?
It's on the paper.
Okay.
It's on our list.
All right. Oh, the list, yeah.
List.
Derek?
Nothing at this time.
Zeke? John?
I do.
What?
I want to remind everybody, and I think it should be on every agenda about the roads. And getting, moving forward with the loan and getting the bid out.
Good job, Tom. And I do have that list I have to follow up on, and I'll get that going. Mr. Michael, you have any?
Just one thing that Mr. Leone and I discussed, we need to put the booster pump for the tank on the old business.
Okay, thank you. Anything else?
That's it, sir.
Solicitor York?
It's according to the Merriam-Webster dictionary.
This is what we pay you, big bucks.
Sneakily is a word. It's defined as being marked in stealth, furtiveness, and that's a real word, or shiftiness, like a sneaky trick. None of which we did in connection with that PennDOT.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
I have a question for Mr. Urick. Are you related to the Cantelmi family by any chance? Okay.
John, I did have a.
Sure, go ahead, go ahead.
I apologize, I should have probably
All right.
thought of this on order new business.
Go ahead.
Thank you.
I know that I wasn't here and I missed general government, but just looking over the agenda, we have one more meeting left and we have a contract that's ending at the end of this year.
Yes.
Was there any discussion or update in regards to that that I may have missed?
The contract?
Yes.
No.
All right. That satisfy your question? I mean,
Yeah, we have one meeting left at the end of the year.
now, yeah, and now that you brought that up, and I'm glad you brought that up. When is our next meeting? What's that, what day?
It's advertised
Yes.
for the 28th,
Which is a Monday.
Monday.
Okay. And we will go, and we're all gonna show up on Monday, right? Because we're not, you know, we're not gonna have chief going around picking you guys up. No. The back of those squad cars are not padded, so we'll be sitting on that. All right? Anything else? Richard, is that it?
I guess just to follow up on Mr. Wilson's question, maybe give him a little better clarity. Hoping that the General Government Committee utilizes the 15th and possibly the 22nd, those 2 Tuesdays to move forward and try to come with some consensus of an offer and try to move it It's not untypical for a contract not to be renegotiated before it expires, and in the event that it doesn't, once it is ratified, there's provisions that are made where there's someone, backdating to the beginning of the year or whatever, and what's paid for. And I'm sure you're aware of all that, but hopefully we have some movement on the 15th and the 22nd.
I'm gonna circle back one more time, open the floor up to the visitor section. If anybody has anything?
Chris Schauner, 903 Kaiser. Mr. McKay, with all due respect, where are you getting the June or July date for the merger?
That's what you guys brought up.
When?
It was brought up at the meeting.
When?
Said it could be done in June or July, finalized.
To clarify the point.
Oh, that was when the general government meeting when the chiefs were there.
Correct. To clarify the point, a meeting was held with our lawyer who is handling this merger. If the paperwork were to be handed in today, for it to go through the orphans court alone will take 18 months. So the date of June or July is a blatant lie and a misinformed motion to this council. Second off, members of this council who have even spoken to a member of the committee handling this merger. Mr. McKay,
I was present at that meeting.
Mary, and then Mr. Brewer, I assume.
General government,
Anyone for that matter.
they had the two individuals from 4th and 5th here.
Correct.
General government,
You
right?
spoke to two chiefs. correct?
Exactly.
You spoke to
That's
two
it, yeah.
chiefs. There was a 6-member board handling this merger. No meeting was held of those. They're going off a word of 2 people. Let's keep that in perspective. Third, if a meeting were to be held in regards to this merger, at any point in time, for this appraisal, for example, I could have let you know, as a member of this committee, that an appraisal and a fair market assessment has already been performed on that building, so that we may present it to council as a part of this package. Now, I'm pretty upset about this, because this merger has been going on, this talk has been going on for 2.5 years. And for council to believe they can expedite it, and that may or may not be your intentions, you're putting a nail in a coffin of something you don't need to put a nail in a coffin of. These are 2 very separate associations. And you could, by all means, choose to kick your volunteer firefighters out of a building. And they're exactly that, volunteers. Over the last 30 years, your firefighters have gone from 300,000 members in the state to 30,000, and it's quickly diminishing. For council to be meddling in something that takes 200 hours of training to do and not receive a single dollar from, I don't see the payoff at the end of the day. Mr. Marzi has been a firefighter his entire life in this town. I have been a firefighter since I turned 16. There's a pride that we take in doing it. Just like every firefighter that's across the state, every police officer that gets paid, and every EMS member that does it. Think before you do an action upon your volunteers. You wouldn't be pushing her out of this room because she does great things for this town, and so do our firefighters. That's all.
Thank you, Mr. Schauner.
John,
Yes.
I think our meeting, all it was just to get a general consensus.
Well,
Am I right on that? I mean, because it was just to have like a sit down and a talk.
well,
I mean, that's all it was. It wasn't,
yeah, but not Mr. Schauner's defense, but nonetheless, and not to disrespect you, we could have had that building appraised at any time. I've been wanting to get my house appraised just to see what it's worth, but whatever. I think we need to have, I've always said, better communication. All right, anybody else?
My name is Carol Waxer. I live in Washington Avenue, and I live right alongside Apple Alley. Okay?
What is your house number?
703.
Okay.
Okay? Now, years ago, they paved the front part of Apple Alley and the end part of Apple Alley. The middle of it is full of potholes. I mean, it is really bad.
Is it stone or the middle portion of it?
It's just dirt.
Dirt?
Yes.
You know where she's talking? I can't, but is
You
that
know
a sign?
you know where the gas station is?
Yes.
Yeah, thanks to
Okay.
Washington.
Yes.
you're right behind it?
Yes, I'm right behind it. Mm-hmm. And the front of that alley from Pennsylvania to Washington is paved. And from Indiana Avenue to Atlantic Avenue, it's all paved. The rest of it is dirt, and it's full of potholes.
That's a side alley, it's an
Yes,
alley
it's a side alley, yes.
perpendicular to the streets.
Yes. Mhm.
Okay, I know exactly what you're talking about, okay, John, that's our award. What do you think? We're gonna either get that worked on beginning of next year? I know exactly what she's talking about.
I don't think it'll ever be paid.
No, we're not talking about payment, we gotta, it's full of potholes, we can get it drug out or.
Yeah, I'll take a look at it and
Yeah.
see what Danny and the road department can do to it, you know.
That's a forgotten alley, ma'am, and I apologize for that. I went down it myself one time and got bagged up pretty good. We will do what we can to level that alley out, okay?
Okay.
We're not gonna pave it now, but.
Right, I understand that.
And the thing is, we're finding out, well, we're gonna be doing some things different for garbage picking up and all that, but it should be better in the future when we fix it, because there will be heavy traffic going down through it. It'll just be cars and pickup trucks,
Okay.
okay?
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anybody else? Okay, with that being said, visitor section is not closed. Do we have executive session? No. Announcements? No announcements? Okay, I need adjournment.
I thought you did.
Well, you wanna do
birthday
the,
stuff.
The what? I don't have my glasses, but I can't see what announcements. Mayor, do the announcements.
Yeah, the Monaca Borough office will be closed on Friday, December 25th, and Monday, December 28th. And then the remaining ones are just for Borough Council reminders.
Motion to adjourn.
Okay, Ms. Brewer made the motion, Vice President McKay seconded. All in favor of adjournment?
Aye.
Opposed?